Yes, this is Garland Police.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, are you a dispatcher?
Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
Yes, I was arrested at the Texas Rangers, and I had an integrity unit saying they were gonna watch the body cam footage, and they haven't returned my call, like multiple other locations. But the reason why I'm calling is because I was arrested at the Texas Rangers. We're trying to report crimes, and the Texas Rangers won't return my call on what was done about the report I was making. Odd enough that I was making a report and got detained at the arrested at the Texas Rangers, fighting for my life. I told them that I had multiple false arrests and child abuse and abuse
And this
of.
happened in the city of Garland?
Yes, I told them about child abuse, ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
and my abuse. Some kind of way they ignored that and arrested me and took me to jail for criminal trespass for trying to report crimes at the Texas Rangers. It also happened in Tyler. They gave me a criminal trespass, but I wasn't arrested. So I'm trying to see why multiple police departments cover for all the crimes I experienced all over the place. In Grand Prairie, I was detained. In Dangersville, I was detained reporting things that are going on with my card. I believe I'm targeted.
Okay. I can let you speak to our service desk, and they can help you with anything that happened in Garland, okay?
Okay, thank you. Is this a service desk?
It is.
Okay. I have some questions. At multiple different police departments, I was arrested trying to report crimes. Is this, are you a police?
I'm not a police officer, but I may be able to help you. If not, I've got one here if you want to talk to them.
Okay. So I talked with someone with the integrity unit because Garland Police arrested me at a domestic violence support group and assaulted me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the prior to that, I ran off the road trying to get to a domestic violence organization for assistance.
Mm-hmm.
And the police came to interrupt and told the organization to give me an appointment a month away. And I had video footage of getting ran off the road, so I was panicked.
Mm-hmm.
The police wouldn't render me any assistance or new beginnings in Garland, which I eventually came back for the support group and went to jail. So, police are committing crimes and concocting multiple criminal trespasses. So I went to the Texas Rangers and reported the abuse. I was instructed to go to the Texas Rangers because multiple parties got away with interference with child custody crimes for both my son, and my daughter. They just blatantly just flat out denied me access to my son with the legal custody agreement. Now with my daughter, they're scheming. So I don't have any rights towards her. They put me on supervised visits out of corruption and then refused to allow me the supervised visits that were derived out of corruption. And they cover for all the crimes that were committed to even get me on supervised visits. So not only are they abusing power to put me on supervised visits, they're also denying me the right to those supervised visits out of corruption. But here's why I'm calling Garland. I tried to report all the chaos to the Texas Rangers, and Garland Police interrupted me the third time. The first time when I was ran off the road, the second time at the support group, and the third time reporting the abuse at the Texas Rangers. So they gave me a criminal trespass. So I wanted to know if I have a criminal trespass because the Texas Rangers would not return my calls or respond to the initial report I was making, telling them that I was fighting for my life. I don't know why Garland Police would interrupt someone begging for help, saying that they're fighting for their life, with an arrest, as well as at the support group, as well as the prior when I was ran off the road.
Okay. What is your last name, ma'am?
It's Clark, Clark.
Okay. And your first name, please?
It's Kiana, Keyana. And I'd like to know what happened when I was ran off the road. Why were they concentrating on the criminal trespass instead of the video footage of me getting ran off the road? And no investigator called me back for any of the reports. If they knew I was in a domestic violence situation, what would provoke them to assault me for attending a domestic violence support group, knowing prior that I was ran off the road with video footage of it?
I mean, I can't tell you why they have done something like that. I mean, because I'm not the officer. I wasn't there at the.
I'm trying to establish. No, multiple parties can't tell me why. I don't think that there's any excuse for violating a woman that's in domestic violence, condoning it, and being a part of it. I think that probably why you don't have the information because there's no excuse for it. But here's the thing: I don't understand why they would arrest me at the Texas Rangers for reporting the abuse that they would not investigate.
Last time I show we haven't had any interaction with you was back in 2020. I don't show any other reports with your information on it. Let me check another way, okay?
No, I'm not asking for you for initial reports. It was a while back, but I'm backtracking. I'm forced to do my own investigation work because multiple police departments deny me law enforcement. So what I'm trying to see is if I have a criminal trespass at the Texas Rangers, active criminal trespass, because some kind of way in the commotion they forgot that I was reporting crimes that they're not investigating. And when I was ran off the road and reported that with video footage to the police, why didn't the investigator ever call me back? That's a serious crime to run someone off the road trying to get to a domestic violence place. If that was the first, well, it's a long story, but I went to that place and I used my GPS to find that location. And then this party found me and ran me off the road. That would be significant evidence that perhaps I'm getting gang stalked. If someone knew my whereabouts going to this place and ran me off the road trying to get there, and then the police interrupted and then arrest me and assault me there. There's multiple parties that don't want me to be protected from
what
the stalk.
What location are you trying to figure out if we have criminally trespassed you from a location?
Each time I talk about being protected from this man, multiple parties interrupt me. But it was in Texas.
But I'm asking, in order to be able to assist you with the criminal trespass, what address are you saying that you've been criminally trespassed from?
Okay, one moment. Let me get that address. It's 350 West Interstate 30, Garland, Texas 75043. I would call myself, but they're not returning any of the calls. So it's hard to get investigation if you keep getting the illegal criminal trespass out of corruption. And police keep coming to intervene.
It sounds like instead of trying to talk to the investigator, you need to talk to another department here that we have. It's the Professional Standards Unit.
What happened with the criminal trespass, ma'am? We waited all this time. You got the address. What happened with the criminal trespass?
I see that there was one issued in August of 19. Let me find out from the officer here how long the criminal trespasses are enforced.
Okay, thank you.
He said they were only good for a year, and that was back in 2019, so it's no longer valid. Okay.
So is that for all locations? Because I got a criminal trespass at a police department, too.
At the police department?
The corruption is insane, ma'am. It's just insane. People are way out of control and need consequences. This stalker has lost it.
I don't see.
Each time I talk about the stalker, ma'am, a stalker is dangerous. And each time I talk about the stalker on my phone, people interrupt it. The stalker is dangerous, ma'am. And he's out of control along with all the other parties he controls. So I did speak with the integrity unit and they did not return my call. He said that he was going to check the body cam footage and has not returned my call.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't help you with that part of it. You're going to have to go back to them. Let me see if I can get one of the lieutenants, see if they are here yet.
Sure.
Hold on just 1 second.
Okay, well, can you give me any advice? What did I call again? What is this that I call?
This is the service desk, ma'am.
The service desk. Okay,
well, what you're telling me is that you're not satisfied by the way that
I would like to be able to finish my situation.
I'm sorry?
I would like to complete my sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so if I am being targeted by the government and I feel that I have a dangerous stalker in multiple parties, including the police department, FBI, Texas Rangers, multiple parties cover for him, I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do if I can routinely get threatened. My custodial rights are stolen from me out of corruption, even the right to go to court. How did I get it? Is that something that I have to live with permanently, ma'am? Just allow people to abuse their power to the degree that I can't even talk to my own daughter? And they did it with my son when I was a legal custodial parent? So they fixed it up better this time and schemed so I didn't have custody rights? I don't know if you're a parent, but can someone bully you and violate you enough to keep so you won't want access to your family? Is that possible for you?
I mean, ma'am, I can't make any judgment calls here. I mean, I don't know what your situation is.
I don't know why multiple times I call the parties on my phone and people lack understanding they may be part of the problem. Because when you don't have any emotions or capacity to the ability to be able to care about citizens that are getting violated, that may be part of the issue. So, once
I'm sorry
again,
you feel
ma'am,
that way, ma'am. Like I said, you need to talk to IA.
well, if you have a
Call back at
family,
8
you
o'clock.
can't have enough compassion to understand and realize how that would be if people abuse their power to keep you away from them.
Ma'am, I've listened to you, okay, but there's not anything that I can do to assist you, okay? I literally make reports at the front desk. I'm not an officer, okay?
Well, that is definitely something that's reportable. I think that we're, have a lack of communication. If you do reports, this is a lot of things that you can report that
you think we have a lack of communication, ma'am, okay?
I'm sorry?
Hold on, I said we don't make reports about lack of communication, okay?
I don't know why you would bypass and disregard me saying all of being ran off the road and showing video footage and multiple parties committing crimes and violating. Ma'am, I don't know why each party I call covers for crimes. Everyone I call, including the Texas family the Family Violence Division. So they're extra prepared for me to call on Thursdays because it's extra abuse because that's my day off. So they want it to sting. So I stated, what do you do when the government is enlisted in your abuse? What else is needed? What is it confessions needed? Obviously, these people are preventing me from getting any kind of help or protection from this man to the degree to where I can't even pay an attorney to represent me to get a protection order because the government denies any assistance for me to get one. Since it's being controlled by the government, all the avenues to get protection orders with the government, the doors are closed and the police interrupted. And they sabotage and play games. So even going out on my own, trying to pay an attorney, there are still schemes. So I'm on hold for the Public Integrity Unit. I've already spoke with them, and he was supposed to be reviewing the camera footage and never called me back. So just imagine being in this crisis and being terrified for your life, having multiple assaults, getting ran off the roads, and going to the police department and domestic violence places, begging for help, and go to jail. And then in addition to that, when they are setting you up, you don't know if you're actually going to get murdered because you can see they are corrupt. And they deliberately play schemes and make these situations when it's not recorded. They want it to be traumatic. It's a mind game. It's deliberate. That's why in the police departments, they're behaving the way that they are and pretending like they can't hear me, disregarding what I'm saying, because the intent is for it to be emotionally abusive and traumatic. But you can't prove it. We're the law. And you know what? With all this chaos, my family's nowhere to be found, period. But something had my family terrorized. My son initially was emotional and then they got angry. But they were having meltdowns in these spells. It was like they were bipolar. But this is a completely new behavior. So they're mistreating me and violating me and having meltdowns in the process. Why would family members that respected you and, there was issues with my family, no family's perfect, but there was certain treatment that my family gave me we were, respectful. And multiple parties said that, that was one benefit of the respect. Now, they may have done things that were inappropriate, but as far as the respect level, that was typically on point. And they became very disrespectful. But in the middle of the disrespect, they would have meltdowns, crying spells. I said, is someone doing something to you to cause this? In a meltdown? No. But some kind of way they started covering for Jason and pretending like they called him and trying to set me up like I never knew him, and they knew full blown well that I did. My son even allowed me to use his car because something happened to mine to go see him at the networking event. So they knew full blown well that I saw him, but they started covering for him. What is being done to have my family so terrified to where they won't have anything to do with me? What will have my pastor walk off and knowing that I was begging for my life and walk off multiple different days when I was terrified for my life and he knew it. So since he kept walking off and I knew these people at church, I begged for my life at church. Then they drugged me out of it in front of the congregation. Then the police were outside waiting. Since this man had buried my mom, I came back to figure out what was going on and attend service. They were there waiting on me like they knew I was coming in. This is a big church. How did they know I was coming in and interrupted? So someone was harassing this man and he said that we can give you a criminal trespass. We have the right to deny you the right to come here. Why would a church with a woman begging for her life and domestic abuse tell her that she can no longer attend a church that she had attended for years? Why would a pastor duck and dodge a woman begging for her life? Why would I get arrested at the Texas Rangers begging for my life, or at New Beginnings getting ran off the road with camera footage, police covering for it, telling New Beginnings to give me an appointment a month away? So I come back for the support group, then get arrested and assaulted there. I understand that stalkers are out of control. That's what stalkers do. But when they control the government, entice the government to be out of control with them, that is a level of danger. I think it increases the level of danger. But I've begged for my life multiple times and did not know if I was going to live through begging for my life. So, I'm realizing to repeat this over and over and over again. And still, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's how long I've been on the line trying to get things resolved. And since it's planned, I don't get them resolved. For years. So just to realize it's hard to have had rights at one point and then have them be robbed of the rights, to not be able to get the proper assistance from church and the love and support from multiple different churches. The church now is still playing games. It doesn't matter how big they are. They deny me any assistance for domestic violence or the situation, period. All of them. After I got drugged out of IBOC and that chaos happened, I believe that they are contacting these churches that I attend because I'm being stalked. And they're enticing these churches to not render me any support or help. So a lot of them were so corrupt and abusive, they would not even pray for me. Now the churches are allowed to pray for me, but they will not give me any assistance, any referrals, nothing, period. A lot of them. So here's a curious thing. When I stayed with my sister briefly, and she was abusive there and wouldn't give me my mail, I wrote in a journal that I believed that I would have to get help from church. And they would consistently go through my things. Then all of a sudden, the churches were prepared for me in the area. I thought someone was controlling my phone, so I got a telephone book. That would be better for me, so I can get these addresses, because my GPS would malfunction and a whole bunch of things people wouldn't believe. So I found a telephone book, fighting for my life, because I needed the telephone book to get the addresses and the telephone numbers, because I did not know what's going on with my phone. They threw it away. My sister was sabotaging me any help. I was desperate to get out the house and do something, because I was terrified. She would not let me ride with her. That was very, very odd of my sister. She would go places and leave me at that apartment all the time. So I was trapped there, and it was very heartbreaking and devastating for me, because I needed something. I was terrified, and at times they were abusive there and doing things that aided in the abuse. Police showed up there. So I didn't understand why she would trap me there and treat me like a child and not let me go anywhere with her. It was odd. It wasn't a normal behavior for her. But that's what she did.
Press 2.
Okay, so I was on hold all this time.
De la ciudad de Garland, la oficina de
and then she said, I'm sorry, let me get you over to the professional standards. And then I got this. So it said press 2.
Kita jam. Standards unit of the Garland Police Department. Please leave a detailed message.
So she had me on all this time saying she was going to get me on hold with on the line with someone, and now it's a voicemail. You have to see it to believe it, but when you go through this year after year, you know that this is on purpose. Hello, this is Kiana Clark. Someone said that he was going to review camera footage of multiple officers interrupting me, begging for my life in emergency situations. Not in a good way. They interrupted me getting services and support to get out of a crisis that I was in. 3 times, Garland Police only. Multiple other departments have done this as well. But someone said that they were going to review the camera footage to see if there was any inappropriate behavior from the officer when I got assaulted for attending a domestic violence support group in a scheme. So my contact number to get the status of that is... So let's talk about the different family members. So with my sister, she had the meltdown. My son, he had a meltdown too over the phone and then got angry. My daughter had a meltdown too, and a multiple meltdown, someone hung up on her. And then the second meltdown that was in person, they told her they were going to give her away to CPS. And the police covered for it, the emotional abuse. If you know that out of a crime, you're preventing her to have, that's what the stepmom said. If you know you have went up to the court and committed a crime and you're guilty of child abuse yourself, September 24, 2011, February of 2018, but since multiple parties cover for you and enforce your abuse, you feel that, you know, you're in control, which you are. The police department, Texas Rangers, CPS, courts, multiple parties are covering for her. So some kind of way, when my daughter had the meltdown, they hung up in my face, so I could not see her meltdown and crying. So I called the police, and they ducked and dodged me and wouldn't answer the phone. So I called the police. Since it's networked and they're connected, then they answered the phone when I called the police, because they didn't want the evidence of what had just happened. So they do that like someone is contacting her and controlling her behavior. You got to see it to believe it. So then with my sister, all these parties are like they are getting controlled. My son endured some mistreatment. My sister, the police showed up there, and then my daughter's being controlled by stepmom. So multiple parties to enlist the police department and families where they can't get support from churches and families that's definitely mentally ill and psychotic. But to pull it off, abusing government resources is even sicker.